everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we'll be writing a program to display data from an API in tabular form and also create a search box to search for a particular user by their name from the table, and this we will be doing in React. So first of all, to get the API we need a fake API that we can use in our code. So we'll use this JSON placeholder.typecode.com. Here you can get all types of APIs that you want to use in your project and want to practice something. So we will take this users API and this we will be utilizing in our code to get the data from the API. So this is the API that we will be mimicking. So we'll go to the React code sandbox. This is a playground for React application. This has already the app.js, index.js, everything. So in the index.html, you have the basic project setup. And in the app.js, we'll start by making some changes. Like we'll write use state and use effect, which are the two hooks from React, which we will be utilizing in our project now. So we just import it above from React, and as you can see they have a simple application with hello code sandbox mentioned. So this we will change, and first we'll declare a const with the filtered data, and this is the use state which we are creating. So we will have the filtered data and set data. Now we'll initialize the initial value for this as empty array, since the data that we are getting from the API is also an array, so we have done it in this way. Now we'll start by writing our use effect. So whenever you are doing an API call, we do it inside the use effect. So here we will be using the fetch method which is provided from React. I'm not going with Axios and any other libraries because I want to keep this tutorial simple. So we'll fetch the data from API and store the response. So here we are doing the res.json because whatever data we get from the fetch API, that is not in JSON format, and if we have the data in JSON format, it's much more easier to manipulate it. So we are just converting it into our JSON format in line number 10, and in the line number 11 we'll take this JSON data and put it inside our set data, that is the filtered data. So we are updating our state using the set data method, and now our filtered data will have the response from the API. So we will also include one cache method so that if there is an error, that is cached in the cache method. Now in the return we are basically writing the JSX. It is similar to HTML. So we start with a basic table structure where we include the th, which is the table header. And here in the API, as you can see, we have ID, name, user name, email, address, everything. So we will use these as the table header. So we'll start by ID and we'll have all those mentioned as the table header, like name, email, address, etc. Now we'll move on to writing the table body, which will be the actual content. So inside the body we would have rows, and each row would have certain table cells like the actual data. So we will first loop over the filtered data. So we'll map the filtered data, and from that we will display each and every element. So here each element is an item, and in the return statement we'll write the JSX that we want to display on the screen. So we will have table row, that is tr, and each row will have different cells. So each cell will have contain data like ID of that user, name of the user, username, email, and address. So for that we will use the dot operator, since the API that we are using is a array of objects. So we will be using dot operator to retrieve different properties of a particular item. So we will write item.username address, but here we are getting an error. So this is because, okay, so the username is small, so you have to keep this in mind that whatever is the key, same we have to use here to fetch that data. And since address is a like object of a object, so it's a loop kind of thing, so we will just take one particular property of the address to display for now. Now we also have to create a search box to search for a particular user by their name. So for this we will start by creating an input box. So we will define the properties of the input box such as type, and it will be a text. Placeholder will keep as search. Value for now, let's keep it as a string, that is 1 for now. We'll change it later. And then we will have a onChange method so that whenever the user types something on the search box, the value is getting filtered from the table. So for this we would need another state. So let's start by declaring the state first. So we'll have a const similar to the filtered data, but this one will be the search value and set search value. So we will use the use state, and the initial value of this would be string because our search value would also be a string. So that is why. And here we will replace the value with search value, and on change we will set the search. So we will set the search to event.target.value. That would be the letters that the user is typing on the search box. So now the change is not happening in the UI. This is because in order for the UI to re-render, we need to write a use effect. So we'll write a use effect for that, and we also need to filter the data again based on what user has entered in the search box. So we will check for a condition that if the search box has some value, then we'll write a const, that is new data. And the filtered data, this time instead of mapping we will go by the filter method, and we'll try to filter out all the data that is not related to the search. For this we will take the name, change it to a lower case, and then search for the index of that name. If the index of that name is present, then that falls under the searched category. If the index of that name is -1, that means the index is not found and it will not fall under our search category. So this is the exact code which we are going to write here. So we take the name, change it to lowercase, then search for the index, and for the search value also we change it to lowercase and check if the value of index is -1. If so, then we won't be returning it. So we are checking here that the value should be greater than -1. So in this way we can get our new data, which is the filtered data, which is based on our search results. And in this, for the use effect as well, we will keep one dependency array. So first thing is that we will set the data, that is the filtered data, with this new data so that our UI changes. And in the use effect dependency array, we will keep the search value, because whenever the user types searching something, this use effect should be triggered. So because of that, we are keeping that as a dependency array. So it is getting filtered, but there is one issue which you notice, that once we clear the search, still we don't see any data in the table. So for that we will include the search value in the first use effect as well, but now every time all the data is displayed. So we will have the same filter again, that is the search value should be equal to null. So whenever there is no search value, then we should get the total data. So for this reason, we are including one condition and implementing the search value in the dependency array for both the use effects. So in this way, we can solve this problem. And my suggestion would be that whenever you are following my coding series, then I would request you to start with, like, to be available with your laptop and code parallelly with me. So in that way, it will be more helpful to you. So here we see one issue here. We can also do a quick fix, but here as you can see that it's suggesting that filtered data is also a dependency array and we should include that. So we will do that here. And with that, we come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.